Call the member for Hunter.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. The Labor Party is the party that brings Australia forward. We're the party who introduced all of the things that make this country great, like paid parental leave, Medicare, just to name a couple of our nation-building changes put in place by us, the Labor Party. And Speaker, the NBN was meant to be another one of those things that made our country great. And it would have been if the Labor Party had remained in government, but as with many things implemented by those opposite, it became a massive flop. Instead of putting our country ahead of the rest of the world, we were left behind. Instead of making the most of the world-leading optic fibre that was available to us, they used copper, and it was Aussies that copped the consequences of this. They went for the cheap option instead of going for the job done once, job done right. So now, Speaker, we are here to do the job that should have been done properly the first time. Speaker, the internet isn't just a way of the world in the future, it's a way of the world right now. 13 years ago, we wanted to provide all Australians with fast, accessible and reliable broadband, but instead they got the cheap option, which was far from fast and reliable. It's ironic that this cheaper option turned out to be more expensive at the end of the day. Paying more for a product that is not as good, what sort of a deal is that, Speaker? Speaker, this is a government who has a lot of work to do. We have a lot of catching up to do if Australia is to keep up with the rest of the world when it comes to the standard of our broadband. But this is a government who doesn't want Australia or Australians to be left behind. So we're getting on with the job straight away. This government committed $2.4 billion in the October 2022-2023 budget to expand full fibre access to an additional 1.5 million premises by late 2025. We are ensuring all Australians can have access to fast and reliable broadband because Australian families deserve access to internet that is affordable, and it is just simple fact that if our country is to advance, our internet must meet our needs of small business, education and recreation. Speaker, this is good news for my electorate of Hunter. My constituents will be jumping with joy because of these 1.5 million premises, and 660,000 of these are in regional Australia. Speaker, on this side of the House, we may not wear puffer vests with slogans on them, but we sure do care about regions like my electorate, the Hunter. This announcement is just one example of a focus on regional Australia that will bring practical and significant benefits for all parts of the community, from businesses to families. Speaker, our most recent announcement meant that a further 14,637 households in my electorate will be able to upgrade to full fibre broadband connection. This covers almost all corners of my electorate, from YE to Wangi, Wallsend, Singleton, Glendale, Edgeworth, Currambong, Cessnock, Cardiff and Bonalds Bay, and this is just the start. The NBN has been vital for our country. There is no two ways about that. The NBN has kept Australians connected, supported remote learning and telehealth, and expanded the reach of small business into new markets and customers. It is good for just about all parts of our country, but sadly, Speaker, there is a digital divide in this country which impacts regional and rural electorates like mine. But we are determined to narrow this divide, and that's why the Minister for Communications made available $480 million to upgrade the NBN, the fixed wireless network, within months of coming into government, something the Coalition promised but never actually delivered. We are also narrowing the digital divide between our major cities and regional communities. From upgrades to Sky Muster plus fixed wireless and the fixed line network, our government is determined to give Australians access to the 21st century communications infrastructure they need and they deserve. It's clear how important this infrastructure is for our country, and it's obvious how important it is for my electorate, the Hunter. This is why it's so important that we finish the job that we started and bring NBN up to scratch, giving Australia the world standard broadband that we first intended to provide. Only an Albanese Labor government delivers for all Australians. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.